Today is Thursday, April 21st, 2022. Welcome to the Senate Tax Committee. We'll come to order. Members, today we're looking at local option sales taxes. We have a hefty agenda today. I think that we will get through all of these today. The intent is that we'll lay them over for possible inclusion. And before we start, I'm going to ask Ms. Pollock to just give us the brief overview of local option sales tax statutes. And as we have that framework in front of us, then we'll hear our following bills. And just so you know, we'll be starting with Senator Dahms. But first, Ms. Pollock.
Madam Chair and members, yes, I'll just briefly go through the requirements for local jurisdictions to seek authorization for and then enact a local sales tax. As the chair mentioned, the authorization and enactment requirements are governed under general law and Minnesota statutes. And local sales taxes apply to the same tax base as the state sales tax base, and they're administered by the Department of Revenue. What we commonly call special taxes are taxes that apply to things like lodging, food and beverage, or admissions, and not to the general sales tax base. So the requirements that I'm outlining here don't apply to the authorizations of those special taxes. Local sales tax revenues may only be used for construction and rehabilitation of capital projects that have a clear and demonstrated regional benefit beyond the local jurisdiction. And the proceeds of the tax must be dedicated exclusively to the payment of the construction and rehabilitation costs and then associated bonding costs with those projects. Last year, the omnibus tax bill codified the definition of capital projects for local sales tax proposals. A capital project is one of these three things: a single building or structure, including associated infrastructure needed to safely access or use the building, improvements within a single park or named recreation area, or a contiguous trail. And there are 5 requirements for enacting or modifying a current local sales tax. First, the governing body of the local jurisdiction must pass a resolution prior to seeking legislative authority. And the resolution must include a proposed tax rate, a detailed description of not more than 5 capital projects that would be funded by the proposed tax, documentation of the regional significance of each project, including the share of the benefit to or use of each project by persons other than local residents, the amount of revenue from the sales tax that would be used for each project and the estimated time needed to raise that amount, and the total revenue that would be raised for all projects before the tax expired, and the estimated length of time that the tax would be in effect if all proposed projects are funded. Second, the local jurisdiction must submit the resolution to the chairs and ranking members of the House and Senate tax committees by January 31st of the year that they are seeking authorization. The submission must include the underlying documentation showing how the regional benefit was determined. Third, the local jurisdiction must receive legislative approval to impose the tax. The authorization must include the tax rate, the specific projects that were authorized, and the total revenue that would be raised from the tax, and the estimated length of time it would be in effect. Fourth, the jurisdiction must conduct a referendum within 2 years of receiving legislative approval. If there are more than one authorized project, there must be a separate question on the ballot for each project. And so if not all projects are approved by the voters, the total revenue to be raised from the tax and the duration must be reduced accordingly. And finally, the local jurisdiction must then file the resolution and documentation of voter approval with the Secretary of State, and that must occur before the first day of the next regular legislative session. Madam Chair, that concludes the summary of the local sales tax requirements.
Thank you, Ms. Pollock. Have all of the projects that we will be reviewing today, have the cities met all of the submission requirements to date?
Madam Chair, yes, the jurisdictions have submitted their required documentation.
All right. Thank you very much. Members, we'll start then. Senator Dahms, welcome to the Tax Committee. Senate File 3471. Senator Weber, would you please move that?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Weber. Senator Dahms, welcome to your bill.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members. And today we have Senate File 3471, which is a request for an extension of the current sales tax program within the city of Marshall. And with me today, I have the mayor, Mr. Bob Burns from Marshall. And if so allowed, Madam Chair, I'd like to have Mayor Burns go through and explain the use of the request for the increase or the extension.
Thank you, Senator Dahms. Mayor, welcome to the committee. Introduce yourself for the record, please, and continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator, Madam, members of the committee. My name is Bob Burns. I'm mayor of the city of Marshall. This is my 30th year as mayor of the city. It was very helpful to have that explanation of the requirements. We have met those requirements, and where we're at today is that we are at the point of requesting legislative approval for the extension of our existing sales tax. We did have submit the resolution that was passed unanimously by our city council. That was also assisted by local support from our business community and Chamber of Commerce. So the city of Marshall is requesting the authorization to go to the next step for receiving legislative approval so that we can go to a vote of the public this November for the extension of our current half-cent sales tax. Our current sales tax was authorized for 15 years, and that was for the construction of the Red Baron Arena and Expo Center and the Merit Center. We're nearing the completion of the collection of the funds that were necessary for that construction, and the proposed single project that is proposed for the extension of the sales tax for an additional 15 years is for the aquatic center. It's a regional aquatic center. Our current swimming pool was constructed in 1937. It's one of the oldest in the states. It has some serious issues. For example, we lose between 12,000 and 15,000 gallons of water each day during the summer because the concrete is porous and wore out. The infrastructure, meaning the plumbing, the electrical, the piping, is deteriorated to the point it cannot be repaired. The bathhouse and the existing aquatic center itself is not ADA compliant. We conducted an engineering study, and the conclusion was it's not repairable. It needs to be replaced. We did public surveys, and there's strong public support in the community and in the region that supports the replacement of the aquatic center to serve the region. And there's strong support for use of local option sales tax as the funding source for that replacement. The business community I mentioned earlier, including the Marshall Area Chamber of Commerce, is supportive of this, of the extension of the existing sales tax at the same level without a gap in collections. The proposed aquatic center is viewed by business owners as important for the recruitment of families to the region and eventually adding to the workforce. So finally, I would add that the city of Marshall does serve the region for employment and education opportunities and healthcare and other amenities, and among those amenities are recreation. So the Regional Aquatic Center will serve the region as many of our smaller communities around the area, around our area, do not have swimming options. I thank you for the time today. I realize that you have a very busy agenda, so I've attempted to keep my comments brief, but I am open for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mayor. Members, any comments or questions for the mayor or Senator Dahms? I do not see any online or in person. Senator Dahms, any final closing comments?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members. I do appreciate the fact that you allowed for the hearing today on Senate File 3471. And I'm assuming this will be laid over, and hopefully this will be included in the final tax bill. And thank you, members.
Thank you, Senator Dahms. The bill will be laid over. Members, our next bill, Senator Newman, Senate File 3125. Henderson, local sales and use tax imposition authorization. And your testifiers can come up at the same time as well, Senator Newman. Senator Newman, welcome back to the Tax Committee.
Always nice to be here, Madam Chair and members.
Thank you. Senator Coleman, would you please move Senator Newman's bill 3125?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Senator, to your bill.
Madam Chair, Senate File 3125 is a request from the city of Henderson for a local option sales tax to build a park and a trail. And by way of very brief history, I would like to point out to the committee that the city of Henderson is a small city in southeast corner of Sibley County, right on the Minnesota River. And it's a very small, historic river town that in recent years has experienced really severe and significant flooding. I don't know if it's because of changes in land uses. I just don't have an answer for that, but I will tell you that the flooding that has occurred in Henderson will occur whenever there's a significant rain event. It lasts sometimes for weeks and will occur multiple times during the course of a year. Consequently, between the city, the county, and the state, we now have in place flood mitigation and road projects that are going to fix that problem for the city of Henderson. But the city, its residents, its businesses, and thousands of tourists that come into the city every year have really suffered a great deal just because of this flooding. And so what the city has in mind is to put together this park project, which will be an economic development program for the residents, for the retail businesses, for the city, and then many, many nonprofits and visitors and events that occur in this small historic river town. All of the information that I have just mentioned is in your packets, and I would urge you to take a look at it because it's kind of interesting that a small town like this would have so many events during the course of the year. And in particular, my testifier, hopefully I'll mention the roll-ins. That's kind of an interesting thing that happens within the city. I have with me the city clerk who is sitting behind me. He will, Lon Burbidge, he can answer any questions that you may have. But I have immediately to my right, Madam Chair, the mayor of Henderson, Keith Swenson, who is here to explain to you the project.
Thank you, Senator Newman. We'll start with the administrator, Mr. Burbidge. Welcome to the committee. Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Madam Chair, members,
just-
my name is Lon Burbrick. I'm City Clerk Administrator for Henderson, but Mayor Swenson was going to give the presentation. I would just, can I just
yes.
defer to him?
Yes, you can.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
That will be fine. And then we'll go to the mayor for the presentation.
Thank you. I'm Keith Swenson, the mayor of Henderson. Thank you for hearing us today. A little bit of background on Henderson. Along with the flood threats, we were suffering the same fate of most small towns in southern Minnesota, slowly disappearing. Back in the 1980s, we decided to do something about it, looked around, and decided that what we had to capitalize on was our charm, which led to us working on quality of life issues and also trying to establish tourism. We've been successful at it. The improvements that we've made that we benefit from have been borne by the property taxpayers of Henderson. And because we have developed such a traffic with our events, the roll-in, which will bring 400 classic cars into Henderson every Tuesday night during the summer, and thousands of visitors, along with Sauerkraut Days, the Hummingbird Hurrah. Henderson's a town of volunteers. The taxpayers have borne the cost of the improvements, and we're looking at now turning our attention towards a proposed trail that we wish to capitalize on. We're looking for half of 1% 15-year to fund a 15-year bond to improve our park, which is, well, the improvements were made probably in the late 80s. It needs a refurbish. We would dedicate those funds to that, add some campsites. Because we host so many events, we have a real need for being able to provide some sort of lodging choices. These campsites would be attractive for that. And the idea is that because the vendors who benefit from the traffic through Henderson would then start to pay that 0.5%, which would fund the project instead of you just going to the property taxpayers. Any questions? Any more insight I could provide?
Well, thank you very much. Do you have anything else to add, Mr. Burbidge? Okay, thank you. And I apologize, our pages must not be in the room today, but they'll get that third chair up to the testifying table. No, I do have one question, which might be in your materials, but I don't see them in front of me. Well, actually, two questions. The project, the Allison's Park Campground and Trail Project, the trail's pretty self-defining. But on the campground, how many sites are you looking at that campground?
What's the total number, Bob?
Okay.
Madam Chair, there's currently 17 sites that we put in 1985. This refurbish and relooping would take those and update the electrical and water that goes into those, and we'd add one more site. We have a shower and those kind of facilities on site, but a lot of that has not been refurbished now for 20, 25 years as well. But it's a rehab of an existing park to make it more attractive, bring in some modern amenities. Issues, we are full most of the time, but we frankly have not we're not with the new modes of transportation and new RVs and things like that. We're not necessarily set up to handle some of those things, so we have issues, and it's a project that we're gonna have to undertake with the electrical and water upgrades and things like that.
Oh, thank you. And then I assume it's anticipated that the revenues will be sufficient over the life of the local option sales tax.
Madam Chair, at this point, based on the existing budget we have from our engineer, yes, and we also do charge right now it's in what we perceive as, at least regionally, a nominal fee of $30 a night for those campers. If we get what would be what I would consider a modern 2020s type facility, we'd be able to adjust our rates as well to assist in any additional revenues that we would need to raise.
Oh, thank you so much. And then my final question, are any of these funds, would they be used for operational expenses?
At this point, the plan would not be. That is part of the existing city budget, and we would presume that we could do that under our existing city budget as well.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. All right, any further questions or comments, members? Senator Newman, is not Henderson the city that with that significant recurrent flooding sometimes has been literally cut off for days, sometimes weeks at a time? I believe that's the case. Is that true?
Months at a time.
Months at a time.
Yes.
Yes.
The flooding issue, Madam Chair and members, for this small town is really significant. I mean, it has been just devastating to the town. But again, there's 4 roads in and out of that city. When it floods, 3 of them are flooded, and the city has only 1 road in or out, and that's to the west, where there isn't anything but cornfields. All of the services, medical, public safety is to the east. But we have in place a plan to fix those. So between the flood mitigation and fixing the roads, I believe the flood situation will be resolved. And the city, this small city, then will be able to move on and This park and trail is really going to be a great benefit to this small city. It really and truly will. I would urge members, just take a look at the letter dated April 23rd from Henderson that's in your packet. It's just a nice, concise little summary of what this is really about.
Thank you, Senator Newman. It is a beautiful area. I was
It is
there
indeed.
as I was touring the New Country School, which also is quite unique and impressive. All right, seeing no further questions, I don't see any online either. The bill will be laid over. Thank you, Senator
Thank you,
Newman.
Madam Chair. Thank you, members.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Members, we're going to deviate just a bit from our agenda today as far as the order to accommodate a member who has other conflicting responsibilities later. So we're going to move to Senate File 3474. This is Senator Johnson's bill. And if I could have Senator Klein, could you move that for me, please? Thank you. And I believe there may be an amendment. Senator Johnson, welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members.
Do you
Yes,
have
there
an
is an amendment to that. Should be the A1 amendment.
Let's see if it's in our packets. Thank you. Okay, that is the A1 amendment. This would be an author's amendment clarifying the bill to get it in the shape that you prefer. This is your first stop, correct?
Correct.
Members, all in favor of the author's amendment? Do you have the A1 amendment? No. Oh, we'll wait until it's being passed out. Senator Klein does not have the A1. If we could get an aide to get that to Senator Klein.
Yes, and so the A1 amendment does reduce the total amount of the ask from $37 million roughly to $21 million for that sales tax, what they're going to be able to collect or bond up to that $21 million. So it's just a reduction.
Thank you for that clarification. Senator Klein, are you ready?
Having seen the A1 amendment, Madam Chair, I move its passage.
Thank you. Members, all in favor of the author's amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Your bill as amended. Senator Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. So this has been a hotly debated topic over in East Grand Forks for the last year and a half or so. The city council and mayor finally came to an agreement on what the city needed in regards to repairing their recreational facilities. And this is the result of that agreement between the mayor and the city council. It's a 20-year, $21.5 million sales tax proposal that they've finally agreed on and come to the table with. So it will help cover roughly 2 projects. Being how we're in northern Minnesota, of course, hockey is always on the forefront of everybody's mind. So this would help to do some upgrades on a failing plant that they have for an ice, for a freezing plant that they have in their VFW arena. This is the city that I live in too, so it's right down the road from us. So I've seen the activity over there. They're constantly trying to repair and upgrade this from an R22 facility into something that's a little bit more modern. And then they also are looking to improve some of the recreational facilities over at the Civic Center area and upgrade their baseball fields and do that sort of thing to help with bringing in new people. We have a lot of tournaments that are going over onto the North Dakota side, and they really want to compete with that and bring people back over to Minnesota. We have some real top-notch teams over there, and we think that our team should be playing on our side of the river and not constantly having to go over and find facilities on the other side over in North Dakota. They have been very, very active in trying to find additional funding. One of the exciting things that East Grand Forks did was apply for a grant for Kraft Hockey Town USA grant and received the first runner-up in a national contest, received $30,000 to help improve some of the facilities. So they're really going out to every source they can to find funding, and this is one of them that they're also looking at. They had a former sales tax up from, I think it was 2015 up until 2020 to help renovate a pool, and that was very successful. The ROI on that actually turned out to be very positive. So they're hopeful that this is another step in creating another positive ROI for East Grand Forks and the surrounding area. So that's the bill. Any questions I'd be happy to take at this point.
Thank you, Senator Johnson. Any comments or questions, members? Very straightforward presentation. Yes, Senator Bakk.
Madam Chair, I was just looking here, and I'm going to have an amendment later for the committee's consideration, but I noticed this bill of Senator Johnson's kind of will speak to the problem we have with the current law relative to funding more than one project. The current law says that if you have more than one project, you have to have two separate questions. So I think what Senator Johnson might run into with the current law is, even though they're looking to impose a 1.25% sales tax, they have to list two different questions. So it may look to voters like they're going to raise the sales tax 1.25% for the one project and 1.25% for the other project. It was something that came from the House that was enacted into law fairly recently. There's a number of cities that raised issues with it. One of them is one of mine that has a multiple question ballot. So, Madam Chair, I did have a couple of amendments prepared for my later bill just to get that conversation in front of the committee, but just wanted to mention that Senator Johnson's going to run into the same kind of problem that I'm experiencing up in Hermantown right now, and hopefully we can fix that, if not in this committee, when we get to conference, have that conversation.
Thank you, Senator Bakk. You are correct. That has been a problem in a number of areas. I think that problem will continue to manifest itself as we move forward. However, the good news is we will be addressing this issue in this committee next week. We'll be looking at your bill. So thank you so much for bringing that forward. Important consideration. Any other comments or questions? Senator Johnson, do you have any further comments? Closing comments?
No, Madam Chair, I'm trying to help you make up some time today, so.
You know, that's always a good thing. It's kind of like the bonding committee, right? The shorter the presentation, the greater the dollars. All right, no, I'm teasing. All right. All right, Senator Johnson, your bill will be laid over for possible inclusion. Thank you so
very
much.
much. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's see, members, we're back onto the agenda order here. Next, we have Senator Utke. You have two bill proposals. One is Senate File 3462. We'll start with that one. Let's see, Senator Chamberlain, could you please move Senator Utke's bill 3462? So moved. Thank you, Senator Chamberlain. Senator Utke, welcome to the Tax Committee. To your bill.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair and members. And I think you'll see in the next two bills, which I have before you here, is going to address the same things that Senator Bakk just talked about with Senator Johnson's, because I think we're looking at projects or proposals that include 5 projects, so that we'll be happy to see what becomes of the amendment that Senator Bakk is talking about. But first of all, we'll start off here with Senate File 3462. This bill would authorize the city of Park Rapids to impose a local sales tax. And the request authorization is for 0.5%. And members, the list of proposed projects is included in the bill and in your packets. So this would raise the revenue for those proposed projects with as the end date of 20 years, which is the or less is the proposed plan. And then with that, Madam Chair, because I think we've got testifiers online, I can't see from this screen who's here, but we have Angel Wiesner, the City Administrator of Park Rapids, I think, that has joined us to further explain what they would like to do with this money and explain the projects.
Thank you, Senator Utke. Mr. Wiesner, are you online? Welcome to the committee. I cannot see you on my screen, but I'm sure you'll pop up here.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
And committee members, yes, I am here. It is, my name is Angel Wiesner. I am the city administrator.
Angel,
for Park
Rapids. So glad to see you. The Angel that I know happens to be a male, so my apologies. Always,
That's fine.
Always a beautiful name. All right. Ms. Wiesner, welcome to the committee, yes, and please introduce yourself for the record.
Thank you. My name is Angel Wiesner. I am currently the city administrator for the city of Park Rapids. For several years, the city of Park Rapids has been looking into doing a local option sales tax, as we have a increase of population that is almost 4 times the normal in the summertime. It is estimated to be anywhere from 15 to 20,000, and we have currently, as of the 2020 census, actually reached the 4,142 resident mark. So we are growing. We are doing a great job of keeping everybody up to date, and we want to continue that with our infrastructure. We have proposed 5 streets to do improvements on, as the majority of them are gravel. People do not like to drive on gravel streets when they're coming to town, even though it does provide the feel of not being an urban area. They don't like the dust and the, I guess you would call it the washboard effect that comes with a gravel street. So we are looking to do this. As I said, the council's been looking at this for many years, and it was a priority listed for me when I was hired. And so I have brought forth this, and there are strong feelings that this is the best use of a sales tax for the city of Park Rapids. The one street that is currently pavement is actually Hunsinger, but that is in front of the high school. And because of all the athletics that come to town for the sports, as we do pretty well in our sporting events, as have been realized lately, this would be the one that we would like to replace to make it better for residents when they come to the area, or for guests when they come to the area to attend those sporting events, even though we're not having a spring baseball or softball right now.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, do you have anything else to add?
Not at this time. I am open and available for questions.
Okay, wonderful. And then Senator Utke, do you have any other testifiers for this bill?
Madam Chair, this was all. Angel was the only one.
Thank you, Angel. I do have one question for either you or Senator Utke, whoever chooses to answer. I wanted to hear, is this are these streets of regional significance?
The city council feels strongly that these are, as they are arterials into the town to reach local shopping, to reach our hospital and medical centers, and to reach the high school for activities.
Thank you very much. Any further questions or comments? Senator Bakk.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. I've just, and this is a question for council, I think, but I noticed there's a number of projects that are specified in here with a hard dollar amount that can be expended to do those projects. I'm just wondering if the city issues a total bond amount for all the projects combined and commences the construction, is there any flexibility if one project comes in $100,000 high and another one is $100,000 low? That is there kind of an aggregate amount, or because we specify the dollar amounts in law, is that all they can spend? And I didn't do the math of what the total bond issue would be, but it just seems like, considering what's happening with construction costs, some pandemic related and other supply chain issues, that some flexibility would be helpful, I think, to the city as they try to commence multiple projects. If the intent is to sell a bond for X, it seems like they should be able to move the money around within projects if one is a little over or one's a little under. So, council, is that permissible under this?
Ms. Pollock.
Madam Chair, Senator Bakk, no, I mean, you're correct. So the listed amounts that start on 2.13 are prescriptive for each project. And we have had authorizations in the past, and I think even among some of the bills that we'll be hearing today and next week, that authorize the total amount. And so in that case, there would be some flexibility. So that might be something to look at as we're marking up these bills for the final omnibus.
Madam Chair, I would suggest that as the committee considers that, as we come with it, we find an aggregate amount for the city so that they have some fungibility to move money around between projects under the cap.
Yes, Senator Bakk, I think that is a notable concern that will be growing. And we will look at that as we do the markup. I'll also, we will reach out to the individual communities. I cannot imagine that they would not want that type of flexibility, but we will definitely reach out to get a clarification on that. Senator Chamberlain.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the comments from Senator Bakk and the brief discussion. I know we'll do more later on it. But the whole idea was, you know, the proverbial cat is out of the barn. Let's use that analogy with these local option sales taxes. But it has admittedly become quite a mishmash of confusing taxes across the state for people and businesses to deal with. That being said, it is an option for local communities. A couple of years ago, we redid this, the bipartisan effort to redo and review this statute. Now, that doesn't mean it's written in stone and it can never be changed, but the bipartisan effort was to tighten it up, to clean it up, and to make sure those funds were used specifically for those particular purposes because, as we all know, when this stuff falls apart and the economy goes south, and there's a lot of debt on the local small communities, then those communities come back to us to help them out and bail them out. Because rural Minnesota, we had to support them, but there are unique challenges out there as far as demographics and population. So that is why there's a bipartisan effort to redo these local option sale tax statutes to ensure that we give the local communities ability to do things that they don't have to come here and ask for the dollars directly, which is a good thing, but also to balance that with the real fiscal responsibility and the realities out there. So I understand there's always possibility for review and change, but I hope this body takes that with a very cautiously and direct approach, because we could open this up to all kinds of stuff. And we've been very good in this committee, in this in the House to, you know, for example, the lodging taxes and the visitation things, to keep those things tight for those very reasons. So thank you for allowing me a couple minutes, but just caution on how we play with this statute and where it goes. We created it specifically to try to develop that balance, and maybe it can be improved. But thank you for the time.
Thank you, Senator Chamberlain. It's always good to hear from former chairs and also the authors as to what the intent was. So I think those are helpful comments. We will certainly keep those in mind as we move forward. Any further comments to Senator Utke's proposal? Seeing none, Senator Utke, your bill is laid over for possible inclusion. Now let's move to your next bill, which is 3453. Senator Coleman, could you move that bill, please?
I move, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Blackduck local sales and use tax imposing authorization. Senator Utke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this one is going to just mirror what we just heard from the City of Park Rapids. The City of Blackduck has some projects that they're proposing, and their requested authorization is for 0.5% also. And with that, we'll get right to the meat of the bill. And with us, we have Christina Regis, the City Administrator, and I would like you to call on her, Madam Chair, to further tell us about the what's in their bill.
Thank you, Senator Utke. Ms. Regis, welcome to the committee. Introduce yourself for the record, please, and begin. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Christina Regis. I'm the City Administrator for the City of Blackduck. I've worked for the city now for almost 10 years. Just like the City of Park Rapids, we too have been working on trying to work on a local sales tax for several years. Our proposal for SF 3453 is to help improve on some local amenities that the city has offered for pretty much the whole life of the city. We have a city campground, Pine Tree Park. It actually initiated as a state park, went to a county park, and got given to the city back in the early 70s. We offer 32 campsites, and we're the only public property that is offered on the Lake of Blackduck. We're also one of the only public parks between Bemidji State Park and Big Bog State Park. So we're very proud to have this campground available to the public. What we'd like to do with this bill and the money from the sales tax request is to improve on our amenities, basically our infrastructure. Of those 32 campsites, we offer 13 with water and electric, and about 10 of those are also just electric. And then there's also some primitive sites. So we would like to improve those amenities to all of those sites. One thing to note about our campground is that we also offer a public dump station. And we do charge for that. But in connection with the Beltrami County, we're pretty much the only public area that offers that between Big Falls and Bemidji. So there's like a 67-mile difference. So we have several travelers here that that stop in Blackduck here to gas up and fuel up and get groceries and get bait on the way to Upper Red Lake. So we are definitely a destination in regional significance for camping and the outdoors. We're also the gateway to the Chippewa. So there's a lot of regional significance to our small town. One of the other things that we are going to be using this revenue, if approved, is to improve our local park that's in town. We have public restrooms, but they're only open in the summertime because of winterizing. We have a nice walking trail that needs some improvements to it. But most significantly would be our golf course. We have a par 3 9-hole golf course that was started back in the early 30s and is quite a draw for a lot of locals and people that summer here. It started off with sand greens, and it's fully operational with a very nice course. It's very challenging. It used to be a cow pasture, so there's a lot of hills. But we would like to fully irrigate this golf course just to keep its momentum and its attractiveness to golfers, and that's part of this bill. Lastly, what I'd like to touch on is our library. We are part of the Kitchigami Regional Library Facility, and our current facility is very small. It doesn't offer enough room for a lot of free programs that Kitchigami offers. We're losing out on legacy funds because our facility is too small, and we and our local library board feel very strongly that we need a larger facility. So some of the funding would go to that as well. I'm open to questions if anybody has them, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Regis. Just one question. Is there any operational expense that you look to have covered in these projects?
No, Madam Chair, we already have funds set up to take care of maintenance and operation of all of these entities already.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions, members? Senator Dudzik, welcome. All right. Senator Utke, final comments.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. I really don't have any additional comments to make other than to thank our two city administrators for participating here this morning to explain their projects. And I do appreciate them joining us. And I thank you, Madam Chair and members, for hearing this and considering their requests as you move forward with your bill.
Thank you, Senator Utke. Your bill will be laid over. Next, we'll have Senator Bakk.
You'll have two amendments to it.
Senator Bakk, Senate File 2708. Senator Bakk,
Thank you.
Your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A number of years ago, 13 probably or so, in this room, the committee made a decision to authorize Cook County up on the North Shore, kind of you think of a map of the state, it's the tip that juts out into Lake Superior, to impose an additional 1% on their local county lodging tax, so that they could fund their visitor and convention bureau. It's been very, very successful. And similar to what I believe, Madam Chair, Rochester has something for their tourism bureau also. And I believe Duluth has something like that also. Anyway, we put a 15-year sunset on it because we wanted to take another look at it and see what, how it was performing, if it was meeting people's expectations. In addition to that, Madam Chair, if you look at the bill language, we're deleting some language on line, well, first in the title on line 1.6, and then on line 1.13 and 1.16. We also authorize an admission and recreation tax at the same time, and that never moved forward. So that language delete that provision here is really just some cleanup. It was never enacted. The county doesn't plan on enacting it, so we're just cleaning up the statute by taking that out. But the bill, Madam Chair, would extend the 1% lodging tax for an additional 15 years. I looked at kind of the precedents for this. It looks like there's over 15 different local governments that came to the authorization for modifications from the general law of the 3% lodging tax. So we've done these kind of things in a whole number of communities and in some cases at the county level like this. So, Madam Chair, I've got, you can't come much further to get to the Capitol and from Grand Marais, and want to thank the Executive Director of the Tourism Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce, Linda Jurek, for making the trip down, and would like to have, she can speak to this much more eloquently than I can.
Thank you, Senator Bakk. Executive Director Jurek, welcome to the Tax Committee. Thank you for making the long trip. We greatly appreciate seeing you. Yes, please continue with your testimony. Introduce yourself for the record. However.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members, and Senator Bakk. It's a joy to be here because I drove out of another 5 inches of snow, so yay, grass. It was delightful to be here last night and to be with all of you this morning. As Senator Bakk introduced this 1% renewal, and you know, we all can get confused on lodging tax, but we've really been great stewards of this money. And we have built in very strong engagement and accountability with this 1%. So with Visit Cook County, I serve as the Director of Visit Cook County and now newly the appointed Director of the Cook County Chamber of Commerce. And we still have our 3 tourism associations intact, and they have direct oversight of this 1% that is collected in their areas. And each year we meet with them and they do allocations for events and programming. We don't have a large event center, but if any of you have visited Cook County, you know that we are tourism centric, and we host many events, and we have a lot of very strong not-for-profits. I think North House, the Grand Marais Art Colony, WTIP Radio, and they are really significant leaders in event and programming in our area of the state of Minnesota. So with this 1% renewal every year, we go to the county. It's a separate budget from our 3% lodging tax, which we hold very true to the statute as it is right now for marketing. And we use our 1% to support events and programming in our area. And the tourism associations oversee that budget. We bring it every year to the county. And as we were seeking renewal of this 1%, we brought this to the county. I present every year the budget, but I also presented this renewal to the county after receiving approval from all the tourism associations and the Visit Cook County Board of Directors, which is predominantly made up of lodging tax collecting partners in the lodging industry. So a lot of support, a lot of value. I just wanted to touch a little bit on that stewardship of funds and say that, you know, since this was enacted in 2008, we have supported events upwards of around $3 million. So when you think of $55,000 plus going to artists and galleries, when you think about our spring Art Along the Lake gallery tour, we always have an element of marketing in there. We always stay within that realm of the state statute of 3% collections, but we do broaden the support into that event support. We support our local sled dog events, upwards of $60,000. We support our local not-for-profits. It's been on the record at about $300,000. And of course, we're making a biking mecca for ourselves with the Lutzen 99er, Le Grand du Nord, and that support's been right around $320,000. And last but not least, these are just some of the, I could go on and on about it, but we, we're an arts and music destination, and many of our musicians are independent contractors, and that is their livelihood. And so we support music programming within lodging and within restaurants, and we support those musicians as they play. We have all kinds of programs built out to support that. Last but not least, we really focus as a destination marketing organization on our economy, and we're working very hard to build out our economy into a 12-month year supported economy. So over the course of, we focused in April and May, we've focused in June, and we've really worked hard in November, which are typically those off-season months. And I can tell you right now, to date, we've increased the lodging tax collection of just the 1% by 93% since 2008 in April and May. June has seen an increase of 156%. That's probably really due to that biking industry and the advent of the Lutsen 99er. And then in November, we're at 39%. We also estimate that we have an increase in visitorship of about 38,000 annually from 10 high-impact events alone. That probably would not occur without our support. If we're successful in gaining if we are not successful in gaining approval of the 1% does expire, we're going to need some significant time to unwind that support in our community. And that's why we're here at this time before you. Thank you. I'll take any questions.
Oh, thank you very much for your testimony. It is a beautiful part of the state. Now, just so members are aware, I'm sure you are, and the public, this is separate from the local sales and use tax, and it does not then fall under those requirements that we spoke of in 297A.99, just to clarify that. Just a horse of a little different color here. So, all right, thank you. Any further comments or questions? Senator Klein.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I think Ms. Jurek, first of all, thank you for coming down. Senator Bakk always has testifiers from up north come all the way down here, and we do very much appreciate that. So glad it was a good trip for you. You mentioned some specific month-by-month numbers for dollar amounts for what this tax generates. Can you give us a sense of annually, what are the receipts from this recreation tax? And the second question, is that the sole budget then for the County Event and Visitors Bureau?
No. I can give you a sense of growth, being that the 1% was enacted in 2008, and just a little historical snapshot. The 1% was enacted in 2008, and in 2010, all the tourism associations came together to oversee the 3%. So when you see the growth of tourism, and I'm sure you've all heard, we really escaped the shrapnel that followed an international pandemic. We saw a lot of visitorship. This year, that 1% budget is right around $600,000. When I started with Visit Cook County, it was about $300,000. Not saying that's all on me, but we do have some pretty good outreach in marketing that really is knit together with that 1%. And what was the next question again?
Is that recreation tax, the lodging tax, is that the sole source of revenue for the sole source of the budget for this Cook County Event and Visitors Bureau?
Lodging tax is the 3% and the 1%. Yep.
Senator Klein, any more? Thank you for the questions. Any further comments, members? Senator Bakk, closing comments.
Madam Chair, this has been an amazing, successful proposal. I was sitting in your chair when we did this, and there was a lot of conversation on the North Shore about how do we make this a year-round economy, because it was so dependent on Lutsen Mountains. The very first ski hill, a downhill ski hill, developed in the state in 1947. And it really was the real driver of tourism in Cook County. And summers were good, but the shoulder seasons in the fall and the spring, there was just kind of nothing going on. So the big dream was, can we do something in these shoulder seasons? Because one of the big challenges in Cook County is to try find a place for young people to live. So there's employees for places like Lutsen Mountains and all of the other large resorts.
you can't lay people off a couple, 2-3 months in the fall and 2-3 months in the spring when they're earning, you know, tourism-related type wages and expect them to afford housing. And housing's very expensive up on the shore. So the hope was we could do something with the shoulder seasons. I think it's been pretty successful at that. You know, Lutsen Mountains is still doing just fine, and it's very, very important. But the additional tourism activity that happens because of the promotion that's done through Visit Cook County is pretty important to the young people that want to live on the North Shore but need to have more than 6 or 7 months of work. This is helpful to try and expand those tourism opportunities. And you all have seen probably the ads on Twin City television promoting Cook County. That comes out of Linda's office to try and see if we can get people to have some interest in coming to the North Shore.
Thank you, Senator Bakk. And I don't know that I heard, but it is a renewal, just to make sure we all know. It's 1% a lodging tax renewal.
It's a
Correct.
renewal of 1%.
Yes, yes. All right, thank you so much. Senator Bakk?
Well, Madam Chair, and I don't know if the committee's got time today, but I did draft 2 amendments, have nothing to do with the bill, but they're on that issue of the multiple questions on the ballot. And let me just, and I don't care if we deal with them today or next week, I just thought this is maybe a vehicle where we could have the conversation.
Senator Bakk, I think we could start that conversation today because certainly we'll be cogitating on this, thinking about it. We know there's some differences of opinion, particularly at this table. So I think it'd be important to start that discussion today, and then we'll continue next week when we move into your bills. So would you like to offer the A1 amendment for discussion?
Madam Chair, I'd offer the A1, and what the A1 does, members, is removes the requirement that there has to be a separate question on the ballot for each project that's going to be funded. Like I said earlier, that was new just recently, and I know the League of Cities, there's a number of cities starting to get concerned about this. They're just learning about it. It came to me from the city of Hermantown, who this legislature authorized to fund 3 projects. They called me, I went and met with them, and they said, you know, the law says that they all have to be separate questions, and it's gonna look to voters like they're gonna raise the sales tax 0.5% for each one of the projects. And the challenge with that, Madam Chair and committee members, is the law prohibits the city from expending any money to promote the ballot question. So the city really can't under the law, can't spend any money to try and even clarify the question, and then how many people can you reach about it? That is what that does, is just removes the separate question arguments. You'd list all 3 projects, but they wouldn't be listed as separate questions. The other amendment that I drafted that I did not offer yet is specific just to Hermantown that would withstand that provision for Hermantown's question. I'd like to do more than that, but the city's pretty concerned about it, and so if the committee doesn't want to do something broader or wants to have a larger conversation, I'm certainly open to just considering Hermantown. But I think based on the bills we saw, there's a number of cities that probably didn't realize they were going to be in this situation with multiple projects, so it might be better for us to just figure out how to deal with it, you know, before we end up in conference.
Yes, thank you, Senator Bakk. Certainly, those have been concerns moving forward, just as any new laws are, as they start to get rolled out, new things come to light. Last year, unfortunately, we didn't have as many people in the rooms due to COVID, and so I think it's important that we, you know, take another look at this, and we will be doing so as we come to your bills next week.
Well, Madam Chair, would you like to adopt the A1?
Yes, I think we could go ahead and adopt the A1 today. The A2 will not be needed at this point. Any further discussion on the A1? Seeing none, All those, Senator Chamberlain, do you have what you need? I see you're looking at bills there.
I can only find 4 of them.
Okay. And,
So, yes.
well, Senator Weber.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So if we adopt it today, you know, are we precluding the discussion that we might be having regarding it next week? I mean, then we're going to, if there's concern about it, I understand what Senator Bakk is saying, and I understand what the cities are saying. I also look at it and say, okay, you have 3 or 4 projects that are listed. Sometimes projects are put together and there's good public support for 2 or 3 of them, but there's also, sometimes there can be an underlying opposition to one of them, and you could threaten everything by having it all in one question. So I just wanted to point that out. There are other ramifications that can occur to us having everything under one question. So, yeah, I know we had a school bond issue where, you know, it was divided out. Okay, it was going to be X dollars for this part of it, X dollars for the other part of it, and there was 2 questions that had to be voted on, and each of them had to pass separately, you know, which they did, but it was, certainly the one was passed with a much smaller margin than the other one. So it could have been a situation, had it been more controversial, that it would have taken the entire project down if they were combined. You know, so same principle as this.
So, Senator Bakk.
Madam Chair, the city of Hermantown doesn't object to have the idea of having to ask 3 questions. Their concern is that it's gonna, the way the law is currently constructed, it's gonna look to a lot of voters like they're raising the sales tax 0.5% for each project. And that, I think, is the problem, the way the question is worded, that voters could consider it a 0.5% sales tax 3 different times.
Yes. Thank you, Senator Bakk, for that clarification. And, well, I'll tell you 2 things. One, we have one more bill to hear, and I know that time is somewhat short. I'm glad we started the discussion today, Senator Bakk. There has been some more discussion wanting to be had on this, and also, since these were amendments, they weren't exactly on the agenda. So what I'd like to do, Senator Bakk, is we'll address these when we hear your bill on next week. And we'll have a more thorough vetting at that time.
Madam Chair, I'll withdraw the A1 amendment.
Thank you, Senator Bakk. To be continued. Yes. Any further comments, Senator Bakk?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Your
Appreciate
bill.
the committee's time.
Yep, your bill will be laid over for possible inclusion. For our last bill, this is my bill, Senate File 3595, and I'll ask Senator Coleman to take the guess.
She have an amendment? Huh? She have any amendments?
I don't know. I don't think so. Pretty straightforward.
Are they here or?
I think they're here.
Senator Nelson, would you like to move your bill?
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I would like to move Senate File 3595.
All right, so move. Senator Nelson, to your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm glad to have this committee hearing today on this particular extension, local option sales tax extension. We've had a good discussion today about local option sales taxes, and you've heard many already. Today, I'm just pleased to support the Rochester efforts to renew the existing sales tax, local option sales tax. Of course, it's a tool that's helped the community in great ways since it was first approved by this legislature in 1983. It was a flood control project, by the way. Rochester, as you know, is a regional center in southeast Minnesota. You know, most likely in this committee, that it's a city of the first class. We have just a few of those in our state based upon population significantly. Rochester is a city of the first class. You know, it's an economic engine for our state. I know we've talked about it many times, but just a couple things to consider. It's a unique place for many services in our region, our state, and our country, and even the world. As you know, Rochester is home to our state's largest private employer. It's only one of 4 cities of the first class in our state. And to note, too, it's the only city in greater Minnesota that is over 100,000 in population. Today, I have Allison Zelms with me, our city administrator, and Ed Hruska, our former council member and current chair of the Rochester Sports Foundation, to talk about one of the specific proposed projects. Mr. Hruska will talk about one of the projects in the sales tax bill before us. I'll turn it over now to Ms. Zelms, but before I do, I just want to make sure to note that there are 13 letters of support in your packets that you can read at your leisure. So, Ms. Zelms. Well, we'll ask the chair to recognize Ms. Zelms.
Yes. Welcome, Ms. Selms. Please identify yourself for the record and begin your testimony.
Certainly. Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, my name is Allison Zelms, and I'm the City Administrator for the City of Rochester, as mentioned by Senator Nelson. And thank you, Senator Nelson. I really do want to thank the committee, and key here is Senator Nelson, our local champion, her engagement with us to work on this and many other projects across the years in Rochester to make us a city that is world-class is really appreciated. And on this bill, she has really been doing a heavy lift for us and making sure that we can continue to be a world-class city. I did want to come before you today to talk about the City of Rochester's request for a renewal of our existing 0.5% city sales tax. And we, as mentioned, have been granted that authority since the early 1980s, and it's been essential to being able to maintain our regional significance in southeast Minnesota. Just to add on to a few of the things that Senator Nelson mentioned, the city of Rochester is a really large city geographically. We're about 55 square miles, and that not only makes us the 3rd largest city by population, but we're the 6th largest city by land area. And if we were a county, we would be the 11th largest county in the state of Minnesota. So we have a lot of ground to cover in order to be able to continue to serve the community and the region. As part of that regional center status, we support an international airport, a regional library, a wastewater treatment plant on our own, an entire bus system, a significant system of roads, our local police department, fire department, and all of the other city services that are essential to our community, but also to our region. So we are also, as mentioned, the home to the state's largest employer, and as that regional hub for that employer, we host over 30,000 commuters a day, and many of those commuters are relying on our local road system in order to get in and out of the city in order to support Mayo Clinic or receive services there and in other places in our regional center. So you'll notice that we do have 4 projects that our city council really spent a lot of time on in order to bring our most critical needs to you, to request extension and renewal of our local option sales tax. Those 4 projects are a housing vitality fund, street reconstruction, flood control, and importantly, water quality, and a regional community and recreation complex. You can see more about those in our 1-page attachment, and the regional significance is outlined in Exhibit A. So as the committee is aware, streets are a major burden for many cities, and although we apply about $9 million a year to our street system, we need over twice that in order to keep up with reconstruction and the networks of roads that are necessary to bring people in and out of the community. Housing is another key issue for us, and we have wonderful partnerships across the community and region in order to be able to form partnerships around our housing efforts as they exist, but we need additional resources if we're going to make a dent in the need that we have to continue to grow. And then our local sales tax has always been used for flood control, and we built our existing system that you see downtown to the 100-year flood level when we started it, but we've had 4 100-year floods in the last 15 years alone, so we need to continue to reinvest in that because it protects about $250 million of property every time we have those significant precipitation events.
So all in all, I just have one additional point, that the city of Rochester isn't competitive in many of those other eligible resources that metro cities are able to tap into for some of these projects. Again, we wanted to bring you projects that were going to have the biggest regional impact for Southeast Minnesota and for the city of Rochester, and we need those key resources and tools to continue if we're going to continue to stay on top of our game in Southeast Minnesota and be the key area, not just serving the state of Minnesota, but the world as a regional health center. So we've been responsible and successful since the 1980s. We absolutely intend to continue to do so if we're granted the authority. And just remember that this is a key fiscal building block to running our city. And with that, Madam Chair, if we could turn it over to Mr. Ruska.
Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members, and Senator Nelson for carrying this bill. My name is Ed Ruska. I am the current director of the Rochester Sports Foundation, which is a 501c3 organization dedicated to promoting investment into sports and recreation facilities in the Rochester area. I've been the director of that organization the past 3 years, and before that I was the executive director of the Rochester Amateur Sports Commission for 16 years, which at that time we were named National Sports Commission of the Year twice, in 2010 and 2015 by our peers. I also served on the Rochester City Council for 4 terms and numerous boards over the years. I am here today to share my strong support for the efforts of the bill, in particular unanimous support by my organization to support the use of the local option sales tax to plan and invest in much-needed sports, recreation, and a community complex. Our organization has visited and studied other cities and their investment in high-quality sports complexes with extremely successful results. And I believe Minnesota is currently falling quite a bit behind in this area. We look forward to continuing to be engaged with the planning around the regional community and recreational complex so it can add community value and recreational options to all citizens in the area that they will all enjoy. And I would also add that our 6,000 plus hotel rooms make great visitor options while we have our guests visiting. So in closing, we have done a lot of research about the sports tourism market. Rochester has always been among the regional leaders in attracting sports visitors to the area. Rochester sports tourism is now a $46 billion annual industry in the United States and growing. And with $25 million spent annually in Rochester, it has a big impact. Many other cities and communities throughout the Midwest are aggressively expanding complexes and hosting sports tourism visitors. A facility of this nature will benefit the community in many ways and is a very worthwhile investment. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Seeing none, Senator Nelson, any closing comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I know you're all familiar with the city of Rochester, and I just want to really thank Allison and Ed for really their good work on this. Just a couple things that I don't know if were mentioned. I know we're aware of regional centers in this state. Rochester is a regional center. We have over 3 million visitors a year who come to our city. One thing that I think, just to add some further clarification and details to Ms. Zelm's comments about Rochester being a financially responsible city, we are one of the few in the state with a AAA bond rating, and one of even a fewer, maybe even the only one, that has had this AAA bond rating for 50 straight years. So Rochester is very fiscally responsible. The provisions before us today would provide the residents of Rochester local control and give them that option to vote on these items in November. And as noted, these are important projects locally and regionally. Obviously, it's a great regional center. And to the state, as we work to provide economic development tools for flood control, streets, housing, and recreation centers. These requests are really needs of Rochester as a regional hub in greater Minnesota, and that we can support region around us. And our role in the region does warrant this extension of our local option sales taxes for these projects. And so I thank the committee for their hearings today.
Thank you, Senator Nelson. Senate File 3595 will be laid over for possible inclusion. Is it your intent to close the meeting now?
Madam Chair, you are welcome to close out the meeting and just note when we will be meeting next. It's on the bottom of the agenda.
Fantastic. With that, members, the meeting is adjourned. We will meet next Tuesday, April 26, 2022.
Thank you.